In today's episode of Ascenior Fireside Chats, joining us is Anne Clarice Africa, Ascenier's senior consultant and regional marketing manager of ESRI, Singapore. And with our guest, Dr. Mon Monteros, sociologist and consultant and an active retiree. Discussion zeroes in on barriers and facilitators to technology adoption among seniors. Practical new technology tools helpful to seniors during this time of pandemic, and insights on involving older adults in the design process phase of technologies being developed to support age-friendly communities. Starting with Clarice, can you share to us, what do you think are some barriers and facilitators to technology adoption among seniors?
Okay, I guess this is just primarily from observation and taking off from the experience I had as a journalist a few years ago. I would say barriers would be around lack of guidance or awareness. Rather, you have a lot of tools in front of you. You have a lot of technology options around you, but when you approach the seniors about it, they don't really know what they are, how to use it, or when you explain to them what it is, they don't really understand it. So I guess in that regard, you would have to really simplify how certain things work, what they're for, how it would benefit them. And also, I guess once you share that information to them, there's also a barrier in terms of the lack of confidence. Lack of confidence in the sense that, okay, if I use this, I'm scared of using it because I might break it, or if I use it, I'm worried that I might make a mistake, so I might embarrass myself. So those two things for me really strike out. So in terms of awareness and confidence.
Okay, barriers, right? What do you think would help facilitate? In terms for them to embrace new technology or to overcome the barriers that you just mentioned?
A lot of things at play, because it's not only there's the infrastructure, there's technology, and then there's people. Mm-hmm. So all those things come into play. So for technology, of course, when you design certain applications or software or solutions, when that goes to the end user, which is us, or which is the elderly population, you have to be mindful of the interface. Is it inclusive enough? Is it intuitive enough? Like if you, for example, look at Candy Crush or Apple, users as young as 3 years old and even 60 plus know how to use Candy Crush just by looking at it. You don't really have to do a seminar how to use Candy Crush or navigate around mobile phones these days. The interface is very simple. So I guess it's looking at, okay, if we're going to design something for everyone that's very inclusive, what aspects of the interface should be there? Then there's also the aspect of, so I mentioned infrastructure, technology, and people. How do we make sure that that nobody gets left behind with technology innovation? Mm-hmm. So are there trainings available for seniors, especially, for example, you look at basic things like office applications, are there training available for them? Even things that are as complicated as, for example, I'm a senior retiree and I'm very curious about coding. What coding courses are there? So it's making those things being available for seniors and making them very accessible. So I hope I'm making sense, but those are really the tools that I feel would make it easier for the elderly to actually use and access those tools.
Right, creating this environment for them to support their learning, right? That's just it's interesting. You mentioned about the design, because we will get to that later. We will talk more about that. For Dr. Mon, okay,
So you are what would say as our use case for this one, because as a senior, you are right now as we're speaking, you are using technology, right?
Correct.
Via Zoom. Okay. So,
Actually,
uh-huh.
yeah, right.
Yes.
Okay,
So,
so
your
I will
thoughts,
be
your thoughts on
speaking
this.
yeah, I am speaking based on my experience.
Mm-hmm.
Problem with seniors is that we cannot cope with the changing trends on fast-paced technology, innovation, and development. Where there is new apps, it becomes complicated for us. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Number two, we have a short learning span. We prefer short-term memory than a long-term one. So many gadgets, so many apps. We hate that. That's why when I do my report, consultancy report, I have a staff.
Okay.
She can do things, and I have to instruct what to do and what to include. Okay, that's for buyers. For facilitators, we only need simplified instructions, simplified commands. Say step by step with assistance. In the first instance, there should be assistance from somebody who is knowledgeable on the new technology. That's only the first step. Because by the time the process repeats, it becomes a rote memory. So the instruction will usually sink in and becomes user-friendly to me.
Right.
So again, we need a one-on-one tutorial for new technology. Yeah. I have skimmed through Lazada and other online marketing. So they're friendly actually. Once I dial in, what product, all products
Okay.
will show, plus the cost, the price, and including the deliveries and all others. I like that. In just a pinch of a button, I can read information I need. Okay. Because there are things which complicates me, I am not interested. Again, I will not be interested anymore. Seniors want simplified.
Easy navigation, right?
Yes,
yeah.
correct.
Would you
easy
call it
navigation.
like that? Right away when you go to the landing page. So let's talk about the website here. When you go to the landing page, everything that you want to see is already there. On social media, are you on Facebook? Are you on Instagram? Are you on Twitter?
I am on Facebook, but I seldom post messages. I just read whether it's fake news or not, so that I can analyze whether it's fake or not.
Okay. When you decided to create or like have your own Facebook account, what motivated you to do so? Was it because like your children are telling you like, Dad, I have a Facebook account, or like just out of curiosity, or is there something there that like you'd want to get out of Facebook, which would serve a purpose for you, or that's why you have an account?
Yeah, it serves a purpose, especially on my consultancy work before. I need to be updated to new technologies, of course, new technologies, new ways in dealing with people, especially in my consultancy work. Okay, the Facebook is also an avenue for research. Of course, aside from Google, it could be an avenue for research and trends and issues are, of course, can be read from Facebook.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's talk about this time of pandemic. Okay. Something that is timely. Okay, happening right now. What practical new technology tools you think are helpful to seniors? Yeah. Let's start with class. Yeah, you could.
I think to start off, the messaging apps. Since communities are in lockdown, the barangays are in lockdown, and you can't really go out, especially when there's some control order from the local government. So I think it's really getting used to connecting with people via Zoom, using other apps like maybe WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger. So even though you don't get to visit your friends or your relatives, you can connect with each other online. It's not the same, but it's not the same as, of course, meeting someone live. But I think I guess in the point of adapting during the COVID pandemic, I think it's really important to just feel that still human connection. And also, I thought of YouTube just because you can find anything in the internet. And I know for people who likes to go out or would like to do some physical activity, they can just search in YouTube and actually find recipes or exercises that they can use. And another thing that I also thought of is, those interactive dashboards on the COVID pandemic. So they would identify the hotspots, the places where there's higher concentration of cases. So I know it's a bit too serious, but I guess in that sense, you understand that Facebook or online tools are not just for entertainment. It's also it's also important for day-to-day decision making. It helps you make informed decisions on whether, should I go to this place, knowing that there's a COVID hotspot there, or just being able to identify where those locations are. So that's what I thought, and being able to actually drill down the information in those places.
Essential apps. Dr. Mon, for you, as far as like your knowledge of the existing new technology tools that we have right now, what tools you think are helpful for you during this time of pandemic?
Actually, I will not miss a day without opening advisories on COVID pandemic. So I really have to be updated on what is happening in local, national, or global. It's like in the Philippines, the trend in Surigao, the locality is different from the trend in National Capital Region in Manila. The case had spiked to 10,000 per day. So it's quite alarming. Okay, so I have to be updated so that it will also, yes.
Where did you get your updates? Websites, or how do you?
Yes, websites. Actually, there are Facebook pages coming from the US Department of Health. Okay. There are also pages coming from our local advisory groups. So I will open that always.
Okay, right. What about those for entertainment? To reduce stress and anxiety.
Once I read fake news, it already entertains me. Wow.
Okay. Okay.
Actually, I'm also fan of Netflix. I open Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah, Netflix. Oh, of course, YouTube. Yeah, I open. I'm very selective as far as game in the internet is concerned. One is Spider Solitaire. The other is Text Twist. It will let me recall, build up my memory again. I'm afraid of Alzheimer's setting in. So I am always making my mind work.
Right.
With Text Twist. It's a word game, actually. It's a word game. The Spider Solitaire is an analytical game.
We have here something about involving older adults in the design process of technologies being developed for age-friendly communities in the context of having an age-friendly smart city for our older adult population. So yeah.
Okay, usually for people, they would define smart city as how city would apply technology, for example, the smart CCTV, facial recognition, AI, and machine learning. But the idea of technology, it's always going to change. It's always going to evolve. It's how the government translates that towards the other parts of the society. So, for example, here in Singapore, the government had a Smart Nation initiative years and years before. And the great thing about it is that you don't only feel it from the government, so it's pushed towards the private sector, the education sector as well. So you can see the private sector here actually creating public services that are very easy to use. So, for example, banking applications. So if you were to do banking here in Singapore, you can do it with your phone. And the phone interface, the mobile app interface, it's very easy to use. Like what Dr. Mon mentioned a while ago, it should be as simple, as intuitive as it should be. That regardless if you're a teenager or you're 75 years old, accessing your bank accounts, it should be very easy to use. So my idea of an age-friendly smart city would be making sure that everything's inclusive, that nobody gets left behind, that even though you have these sort of technologies evolving all the time, that no part of your population is actually excluded. So here they also have training for seniors, especially for 50 to 60 or 70 years old who just want to learn new skills. That may be courses on Microsoft Word or Excel, or even using the computer. So no matter how well versed you are in using a computer, there's always tools and options for you to use to make sure that you can use them. So I guess in that case, it's really about engagement and inclusivity. So in the aspect of Philippines, so it's not only a government push, but the private sector and the academia should also be part of it as well.
This has been a very enriching and productive fireside chat. Thank you, Clarice. Thank you, Dr. Mon. Right. And to our listeners and viewers, see you in our next episode. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Easter. Bye.
Ascenior Research Training and Consulting is inviting all educators to our Ascenior Learning Academy Educator Webinar Series, happening this April 17, Saturday, 10 to 11 a.m. Philippine Standard Time via Zoom. Webinar topic is Mindfulness and Wellbeing for Teachers Beyond COVID-19 Pandemic. Register for free at ascenyorgroup.com.